Showtime. Test. Alright, before we start this call, we have some rules to go over. To make sure everything's in line and just make sure everything is working as it should. Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Everybody
Alright.
hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, good.
Alright, I'll go ahead and go over the rules real quick. Okay, Alright, first off, and this is directed towards Asus. First off, you may not interrupt other Observatory members. You may not interrupt us when we are speaking to you. You are to hear our questions out, hear our statements out, you are to hear everything out. We will let you talk. Don't worry, we are going to let you talk, but you are to hear us out. And you will not talk over us. I'm not having another call where somebody's talking over me again. I've been through that twice. We're not having that again. And if you do interrupt us, we're going to mute you until we finish talking. Number 2, when we give you a yes or no question, I'll be sure to say like yes or no when it is a yes or no question. When we give you a yes or no question, you are to answer yes or no. You are not to answer yes, but maybe, or oh well maybe, or I don't know. Well, you can answer I don't know if you genuinely don't know, but if we say yes or no after a question, you are to answer with yes or no. And I'm not saying this is something you will do. This next rule, I'm not saying this is something you will do, but it's a rule we have with calls. Calls of this nature. If anyone makes a KMS threat or something like that, they're going to be kicked out of the server and they're no longer a problem. We're not dealing with another Septipause thing. Next rule, well, you may not bring other people to the server unless we instruct you to do so. However, given how the invite we gave you was a one-person invite, I'd hope, I don't know what Red linked to you, but it should be a one-person invite, right? You shall not invite other people in here unless we give you permission to. Now to keep it fair, other observatory members have rules too. Just to keep things fair, we have rules too for each other. Other observatory members are to not use slurs, KYS messages, or any sort of threats. If an observatory member does break this rule, they will be kicked from the call, muted in chat, and they will have their questions/notes read out for them if needed. Alright, now that the rules are out of the way, I am here to tell you that, for obvious reasons, I will tell you that this call is being recorded, and that we will have the ability to release it if such. If you are not okay with it, then now is your time to go, but it will be really telling of your actions. But with all that out of the way, I'll go ahead and start with what I have to ask. Why do you think you're here?
I don't know.
Are you sure? Are you sure you don't know?
Yes.
Alright, well, Alright, well, Red linked you to the reason that we brought you here. Well, partially the reason. The point of this call is because we have noticed that you have been basically... Somebody's pinging me. Okay. This call... Alright, hold on. The point of this call is to hear your reasoning for that, and also to put our foot down in regards to your behavior. And mainly in regards to you sort of breaking our trust, since you seem to be under the... Because I want to remind you of the times you've backstabbed me, but the moment I say anything about you, you immediately have a problem with it. That is what we all have a problem with here, and there are other people here who also have a problem with how you've handled their situations. And they have their own things to go over. Red does, and Loon does. So, I'm sure you saw the clip that Red linked to you. Okay, good. Did you see the clip that Red linked to you?
Yes.
Alright. I want to know. Alright. How did Lio Convoy react to that information? Asus, I'm talking to you.
Yes, I understand, but I'm willing to say that I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? He either reacted to the information, or he either saw the video and saw you interacting, talking about how you wanted to work with Cosmodor. He either saw it or he didn't. And considering how you have been close to him, I've seen screenshots of you in servers with him, so I know that you know him, and I know that he knows you. So either he did see it or he didn't.
I'm not in contact with him.
Oh, really now? Really now? Alright. Because, one second, I'm gonna send this to him via message. I'm asking another member for if they want to say what I have planned, what I'm about to say, or if I should go ahead. All right, I'll go ahead and say it. So, the thing is, like, after Red Gear's video on after Red Gear's video on the comments that Septipaws left on the video, he had a feeling he noticed that what you DMing him because we saw that you messaged him right afterwards. Like right after, or not right afterwards, but after the video came out and you saw your messages presented about like you having Kumo's first name, even when somebody gave it to you without permission. You messaged him in regards to, I think you were like defending Lio Convoy or something. It had something to do with Lio Convoy. Red might need to correct me on that, but you were essentially giving the benefit of the doubt to Lio Convoy for basically harassing you in regards to Kumo's dogs. Is that all right? Is that... And, well... can't speak. And the concern we had was that Lio was basically asking you to send that message to him. Now, obviously, we haven't seen him say that, but we had a feeling that was going on because why else would you defend somebody who told you to piss off in regards to asking for help, I believe. Also, Red, if I got any of that wrong, you can chime in and let me know. Asus, did you get all that?
Yes, I heard you everything, but I'm just being quiet due to respecting the rules.
Oh, well, I finished what I was saying, so you can go ahead and talk about that. Talk about what I just mentioned, if you need to. Because that's what... Like, I'm just gonna... Go ahead.
You're asking about the Kumo thing.
Yes.
Okay, I just noticed that Septi was giving out, like, his first name though, and then I asked Kumo if he... I talked about him about the video. Oops. No. I do remember how it was, basically. Septipaws was complaining about Kumo's video, about the end of Carmen Rider and all that stuff. Basically, Septi, while in development, wasn't happy with it. So after that, like, she began telling him his first name, and so like I was, by my own will, by my own will, I asked him about. I was slowly getting there and telling Kumo that Septi essentially told me his first name and how it happened.
Okay. Is that all for your explanation?
Yes, it is.
Alright. There is one question I have. However, I was just texted to come downstairs, because obviously I don't live alone anymore. So, I'm gonna be right back. Red, I'm going to leave this recording running. Red, if you want to go ahead and do your segment, I know I was going to ask a question first, in regards to it and segue into you, but if you want to go ahead and do it real quick, since I'm going to be stepping away to handle IRL
Absolutely.
stuff, you can go ahead. All right, I'll be right back.
All right. And apologies if my mic starts skipping and it's weird sometimes. If I start skipping or something, if I start sounding weird and you don't understand what I'm saying, please feel free to ask me to repeat it. All right.
Yes.
All right. So then, so you you had told me earlier, or like a couple of days ago, that not only was your trust in Carmen kind of shaky, but your trust in me was also kind of shaky. Was that what you were saying, or did I get that wrong?
Uh, Honestly, you didn't get that wrong.
Okay. So, with that in mind, do you know what was said in that clip? I want to make sure that and we're all on the same page still.
Okay, what was specifically on the clip was Carmen telling me uh, telling me exactly that I hope your deal with Cosmodor as an editor. I can't specifically say it. Excuse me for stuttering, but what I'm essentially saying is that she she basically was pissed at me and like showed the DM between her and me saying about me. Jesus Christ, how am I supposed to explain this? In the DMs, I remember I was searching for an editor, and I was like thinking, why not with Cosmodor? It was a thought, but not a clear, exact thought. But in the clip video that you showed me, she was expressing my. She was hoping that I get. You could correct me if I'm wrong. I do appreciate it, but essentially what was said was that she was thanking me for like choosing Cosmodor to be his editor, even though his YouTube is gone.
Well, she was essentially saying, I want, I hope things were going well. Oh, with you being in Cosmodor's editor, it was more of a sarcastic comment, but you
Yeah.
get the idea.
All right, I'm
So
back.
then,
Did
Welcome.
did everything go up in flames, or thank you? Everything go up in flames, or what happened?
not everything's is going smoothly so far.
All right. Are you still you still telling him what you need to? I don't know what was said in that right now. I'd have to check the recording.
Yeah, I'm still telling him what I need to say.
All right, you can go. You can go ahead and finish up. I'll tell him the question I was gonna use to segue once you finish.
All right. So, did you know what Cosmodor had done,
Yes.
and how long have you been aware of this?
Months.
Okay. So, I bring this up because as and I don't expect much to come out of this, but I am currently working on a bit of an expose on a map. Do you know what a map is?
Can you explain it to me if I don't know, even though it was said before?
Absolutely. A map is a common acronym used online for minor attracted person, otherwise known as a pedophile. So, knowing knowing that I'm working on a video exposing this map, would you have do you understand that I now have a bit of a trust issue myself, knowing that you who had been with Cosmodor?
I okay. Hold on. No, I'm not gonna go through it because it was essentially one email that I sent him, and it never went anywhere.
It never went anywhere.
Yes.
Okay.
If I might chime in for a second, I don't know if Red was already going to say this or not, but even if you did just send one email to ask to be hired or whatever, or work with him, you still had the intention on working with this, not even supposed, actually, never, forget I said supposed, with this groomer, essentially. You still had the intention with working with them, even if Cosmodor didn't respond to your email, you still had the intention with working with them. So even if it didn't go through, I think the intent is still there. You can continue, Red.
Of course. Now, I'm actually going to step away from the Cosmodor thing because I have an interesting question that you you Carmen might actually be interested in, and I want to see if you're honest with me on this one, Asus. Are you ready?
I I I I'll try. Not I'll try, but I'll do it.
All right. Take a deep breath. Hold it for a moment. Now let it go. Ready?
Yes.
Are you still in contact with Septi?
Yes.
Okay. So we're being honest. Have you spoken with Septi recently, like in the last couple of months?
The only interaction was today and 3 months ago.
Today.
Yes.
What did you tell him today? Um, s- what did you tell them today? My bad.
I asked them how they were. I asked them how they were. Are they all right? Essentially, basically asking. I don't know, just giving general talk and like being worried.
Okay, so you were just checking up on them, and that's what you're saying was going on today.
Yes.
Do you recall any of your conversations 3 months ago with them?
3 months ago was the parade month, as I recall, and I was wishing her a happy gay day.
All right, so you you didn't speak to them about Carmen in any capacity.
No.
Okay.
Did they mention me to you?
No.
Um, again, sorry I cut you off there, Red, but, because something just dawned on me, and it was the whole. And I know it's a bunch of bullshit. I know it's a bunch of bullshit, and they're not actually gonna sue me, but what dawned on me, as soon as Red asked that, and as soon as you said yes, what dawned on me was the thing where, Sipti was planning to sue me or whatever for 32 days. Did you have any knowledge of that?
No. I have not.
All right, that's all I want. That's the all I wanted to know in that. That's all I wanted to know in that regards. You can continue.
All right. So now I forgot how long ago I've made that video on Septi's Ace comment thread. And just kind of making fun of that. And when and you recall that I did kind of stick my neck out for you, calling saying that Lia was a bully before, correct?
Yes, I'm aware.
Now it's actually very good that we had this talk too, because prior to this I was feeling like I had egg on my face that I that I had defended you, and all of a sudden, oh, this Cosmodor thing came up. But now that I see that it led to nowhere, I'm sort of relieved, but at the same time, I'm actually kind of concerned that you still went ahead and contacted them, regardless of where it went anywhere. Like, do you know what's going on in the Cloud Palace right now?
Where?
The Cloud Palace with Doodle Tones. Have you heard about that whole situation?
No.
All right. Do you remember V Omega?
No, I don't.
You don't know V Omega.
No, I don't. I don't even know who that person is.
All right. Well, allow me to explain. V Omega is a child groomer, the same one that had abused Doodle Tones or Zuzi, as well as Nekokoda. Someone who was still friends with V Omega was in Susie's server, the Cloud Palace, and four other people knew that they were still friends, and and they kept quiet about it. I would highly recommend and checking in on that and on your own time. But the one thing I kind of took away from that kind of stuck out to me the was one person had chosen a pedophile over their own friends, and despite I only one interaction, I still have my concerns, but I am glad that it hasn't gone anywhere beyond that. So I want to make it clear: I'm not angry with you in any capacity. I'm very concerned, but I'm not angry. Okay?
Yeah, I'm just baffled and confused.
I can understand that, and this is the first you're hearing of this whole situation, as far as I know. Correct?
Yes.
All right, Carmen. Was there anything else you wanted me to go into, or shall I leave on my final thoughts?
Um. All right. So I don't. I don't think I have anything in regards to what you said. Granted, I find it, and I'm not saying straight up that somebody's lying. Don't worry, I'm not saying anyone's lying. I'm not straight up, but I find it very hard to believe that Asus didn't know about, at the very least, didn't know who V Omega was, and I find it hard to believe that they don't know what a map is, but I can't prove anything otherwise, so I guess we're just gonna have to go with that explanation. So you can do your final thoughts now.
All right. So, like I said, I'm not angry. I'm concerned. That's my main thing. Now, do you believe that when you were in talks with Lio, I know you're not in speaking terms with him any at this time anymore, but when you were, do you believe that he was too hard on you?
I'm sorry if I'm just trying to like think because the in Jesus Christ, it's difficult to explain because on the one hand, I just do I think he has been hard on me? Well, as strict he is, he's strict. But was he harsh, really harsh on me? No.
Okay. Okay, that actually works very well for me. Hey, that was actually my next question was he harsh with you? Oh, that so yeah, I actually answered both my I answered your questions. Um and in all honesty, I don't think he should have been harsher on you. I think you got think whatever he did is far more of a punishment than whatever I could have done. What anyone here could have done. So I know my trust. I know we're on shaking grounds when it comes to trust right now, and it's going to be a two-way street to rebuild that trust. Right?
Understood.
Would you like to rebuild that trust?
Yes.
All right, then I look forward to that. Vap, you're up.
I.
Hello.
Um. Now, I don't really know very much about you outside, of what, Carmen and Red and Loon told me. But, I'm just gonna kind of wing it. My main question is I guess, if you're friends with Septi, do you know what he tried to do to Carmen?
Do I know?
Do you know what Septi? Excuse me. Do you know what Septi tried to do to Carmen?
Send a mob boss against her. That's the only thing I remember.
Okay, yes, you do know it. Why are you still friends with Septi then? Why are you still friends with somebody who tried to send a hitman after my girlfriend?
I don't think I would have considered them as a friend, specifically. Because friends don't, like, send hits to each other. Friends don't draw. Sorry if I'm, like, trying to speak, but friends don't send rape art. Friends don't, like, push you over thinking that. Friends don't just push you over and, like, said that you need to. For fuck's sake, I'm trying my best to say here. No, I don't think I'm friends with her. I just have her as a friend on Discord. That's not what a friend would do.
Well, you're close enough with the Septi that you were telling them, happy gay day.
That I understand. And yeah, I understand what you're trying to tell me.
That's good. I'm glad you understand. And I know Red has already talked about but I kind of need to reiterate. What were you thinking trying to work with Cosmodor? Like, seriously, what were you thinking?
what I was thinking was people do remember the past and people will be judged. But work was work. And I do apologize for picking Cosmodore as an editor.
I'm glad you apologize, but
Still doesn't change the fact that I actually consider that.
that's right. I mean, can you imagine how people would act, if somebody in the mainstream media was trying to work with, like, Harvey Weinstein now?
I don't know who Harvey Weinstein is.
Oh, he was this movie producer that raped a bunch of women.
Uh,
Can you imagine if somebody, in the mainstream media was trying to work with him now, and they used the excuse, work is work?
no.
Well, I don't really think I have anything else to say. So I'll, let the next person go.
Before you do, I do have something to ask that sort of has to relate to Asus's argument. Is that about like about like speaking with Cosmodore, but oh, by the way, Vap, you can mute now if you're done, but
Okay.
all right. Anyways, so what I'm trying, because you said that working with Cosmodore was bad, but you said you were willing to bite the bullet and like do it anyways because work is work. Is that correct? Is that what you were saying?
Yes.
I you do look. I can sort of understand why a good and don't cut me off on this. I'm going somewhere with this. This is gonna sound sus at first, but I'm going somewhere with this. I can understand why someone who is prestigious, well, I say prestigious, but who is not hated would do something that would do some sort of line of work that would make them that is objectively bad. Like I think of all the good voice actors and actresses that I like who worked on High Guardian Spice. So that's sort of understandable to just go in with a check. Just go in and get your check, go home. That's somewhat understandable. However, at the same time, Aim, there's a limit to that. It's one thing to work for fucking Video Brinquedo, go out and get your go in, get your check, get out. But it's another, or do some work that's for a bad media. And I know I'm comparing this to like TV shows and movies, but I mean this can apply to anything. But you need to put a limit on that. You need to put a limit on who you work with. You don't work with nonsense. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't work with nonsense. That's not something you do. And this isn't a case of me tooing, like, oh, Cosmodore had allegations. No, these are objectively proven and well documented. There's a reason Cosmodore doesn't have a channel anymore, and it's because of what he did. Now, fuck, what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say. Going somewhere with Cosmodore. Oh, wait, okay, I remember. Okay. Red also brought up something to me, but I'm gonna say this afterwards. The reason I didn't, and I know, because I know somebody's gonna ask, like when this is gonna ask, so they're gonna ask, like, hey, why didn't you say anything before? Why didn't you say anything earlier? the reason I didn't say anything was because I figured that if Cosmodor got himself in trouble again, I'd figured that you would get caught in the blast and learn your lesson that way. Because at the end of the day, I'm not your... Well, I do think that obviously you don't need to be working with Cosmodor, and I admittedly probably should have been harder on you in regards to that, but at the same time, I had assumed you would just learn your lesson. Cosmodor would get into problems, and, you would get caught in the blast, and you would get punished and learn your lesson. Now, to what Red was telling me, and what everyone else seems to be pointing out, is there's also the thing, and this also ties into the V Omega, and I don't know, and I know you don't know about that situation, but I'm going to tell you right now, and I know I'm going to be using words from Lio Convoy, talking points he used, and I don't like Lio. No, I think he's an asshole, and he is, but I'm gonna use his points anyways because this is the one time because this is one of the few times he was right about something. Is that you do realize that if Cosmodor, like, let's just say that Cosmodor did say yes. Let's say he responded to your email and said, oh yeah, let's collab, let's do a video, let's have you edit for me. Do you not think, and keep in mind that you're friends with people who probably either are minors or know minors and have communities that have minors in them. And the thing is, this is a point Lio Convoy brought up about V Omega being friends with other people on Discord, is that he could be, I don't know the exact word he used. If somebody could put it in no mic, I think that would be great. But he pointed out the way houses get robbed. Casing the joint. Okay, so is that casing the joint? It's when before a house gets robbed, somebody might have somebody who is I'm gonna ignore that. Somebody's messaging me. Somebody might send somebody over to the house, and before it gets robbed, and have them ask questions like, "Oh, how big's the house? Oh, I like your house. How big is it? How many rooms you got? What you got in there?" This is a term called casing the house. This is a way that burglars use to get into basically rob houses and break in when no one's home. They use this information to basically break into the house so they can steal stuff. Sort of a way to get information. Now, why am I telling you this? The reason I'm telling you this is that if Cosmodor were to add you to his editing team, or his former editing team, because he doesn't have a fucking channel anymore, to his editing team, knowing the connections you have, what is stopping him from casing the house, but instead of stealing, he could be looking for minors? Because you don't know. One day he might start asking you, "Hey, what servers you're in? What servers are you in? What friends you got? Tell me about them. Tell me how old they are." You don't think Cosmodor is gonna do that? You don't think he's gonna, even though you're an adult, and you're an adult, I know you're an adult. No, I know you're a consenting adult. So you might think, oh, you're safe from Cosmodor. No, you're not. Not. Because he's going to be because I have reason to believe that he might use you to case the house for minors. Instead of looking for goods to steal, he's looking for minors to groom. He might be asking you about your friends' friends, maybe even your family. Who knows? There's no honor amongst groomers. They're so opportunistic. That is what has me concerned as well. I know you're an adult, and I know adults can't be groomed. Once you're an adult, you can have all the sex you like, all the consensual sex you like. But when an adult is in contact with a predator, or even as a sort of friend relationship, they have the ability to cast the house, or cast the community, or casing the house, or case the community, case the server from minors, and create more victims. We already saw that there was a time where Cosmodor got caught for what he did. And guess what he did? He groomed another minor, and he admitted to it on his community tab in that one post. Even after he claimed that he changed, and that he apologized, and that he said sorry, he did it again. Because, again, predators are opportunistic. And that's what Cosmo is probably going to be using you for. And that's why it has all of us concerned. And why you wanted to contact him in the first place. I know he never followed through, but the intent was there. You intended on working with him, and the fact that you even considered it without thinking about that consequence is very concerning, and you really, really, really need to evaluate. Because Cosmodor, he does videos on cartoons. And look, I'm not gonna be that one fucking, and I hate using this word, but it's the only one I can think of. I'm not gonna be that fucking boomer who's like, oh, all cartoons are for kids. No, that's stupid. But he has made videos on kids' cartoons, like SpongeBob, Kung Fu Panda, Mickey Mouse. And he even did a collab. It's removed now. They took the video down. Thankfully, the only uploads that exist are re-uploads. He even went through Digino Gaming and did a SpongeBob Digino Gaming. The video's removed now, and the only upload that exists is a re-upload, thankfully. Rightfully so. But whether you do SpongeBob content or not, whether it's a kid's cartoon, obviously some kids are going to slip through the cracks. Now, I'm not saying that every single video about SpongeBob on YouTube, or video about Mickey Mouse or SpongeBob or Kung Fu Panda or whatever you're reviewing, not every single video on YouTube about kids media is for kids. I get that. I know that. I grew up in the 2000s. I know that not every piece of everything that has kids characters is for kids, but obviously some kids are going to slip through the cracks. So, by working with him, you are giving him an outlet to more kids that I feel like you do not realize. And you do not need to give a groomer an outlet for more kids. That is why we isolate from people like Cosmodor. That's all I wanted to say. Loon, did you want to go next, or did anyone else have anything else to say?
Well, I don't mind going next at all.
All right, Loon, you can go next.
Okay. So, Asus, so why is it that you're okay with working with a groomer when you got mad at ANCAP for having something that at most could be considered like gore? Keep in mind that I'm saying at most here.
No comment.
Okay. Well, if you're kinda confused, I could try and explain, what I'm trying to say.
I guess I'm confused. I don't know. You're whispering.
Um, well, if it does get hard to hear me, then could just ask me to repeat myself.
Yeah, you could repeat yourself, please.
Okay. So, what I wanted to say was, why is it that you're okay with working with Cosmodor, who is a groomer, when you got mad at ANCAP? Well, he's now known as PIPA #1 fan, but yeah, when you got mad at ANCAP for having something that at most could be considered like gore in my server, and keep in mind I'm saying at most here.
Neither are okay. And I'm sorry if I sounded hypocritical. Like when I asked Cosmodor to be my editor, even though the fact he showed gore on the server with uh, which I don't even know if there were minors in there. So I was essentially scared, but I didn't like gore.
Well, what I the thing is that Cosmodor has done way worse things with minors, like grooming them, and he sent. I think it's been proven on a video that he he sent NSFW to a minor, which is objectively way worse than what could be considered gore.
Yeah, but I would say that there was worse. Anything else?
Yeah, I have something else to say. And when you were arguing with ANCAP, um, I was literally asleep when this was happening, and so I feel that the you can't just say that I was like, in a sense it just felt like you were saying that I was being irresponsible when you pinged me, but like, this was by thinking that you were responsible for my server and then leaving afterwards without waiting for me to even get on in the first place. And I literally couldn't do anything about the argument as well.
Yeah, I just head out and yeah, that was shitty from me. Pardon my language.
Oh, it's fine. Well, the last thing I would like to mention, though. Oh wait. Oh wait, Red just said something. I could yeah. could I say what Red said in the secret chat, or I mean in a different chat?
Go ahead if you need to say it in another chat. Go ahead.
Okay. So what Red had said was, or to the first thing I was mentioning about like the first thing I was asking about like why about like the okay with working with the groomer type of the question I had asked, and um and Red had said that when you said neither were okay, that apparently it was the same thing someone called Key tried to pull when it wasn't the question being asked.
All right, so so again, this goes back to the recent happenings with the V Omega situation as well as what's going on in the Cloud Palace. A user called Keyblade Master, or just simply called Key, was one of the few people that not only knew who someone was in contact with V, but also tried to hide it. Like they tried to keep minors quiet. That's not the important part. The important part was that he was getting grilled by everyone in Clubhouse as well as Lyle. And someone had asked him, um, so you were in a dark place, but so they were saying, and so you did this, like it's not okay for them to do this, but you did this, and he goes, oh well, neither are okay. But that wasn't the question they were asking. They were asking, saying, why did you think it was okay? You see how that's kind of a similar thing that happened here when, and Lewin had asked you, oh, oh, why do you think, why, why, why did, why were you willing to work with Cosmodor, but you thought that, but you were absolutely disgusted with ANCAP, with the with what could be considered or gore at most.
I don't know. Grooming children is, in fact, worse than gore.
Okay, we understand that. But what had happened was that you
Responded with neither.
what what I'm saying is that at Lewin asked the question, why were you more okay with doing it with contacting Cosmodor than you were with what ANCAP had done? That was the question, not which is worse.
Then my answer would be I don't know.
Okay. Loon, is there more that you wanted to say, or?
Uh, oh yeah, about that first part. What my point was that you were getting mad at ANCAP because miners would see some random Arab guy's hand bleeding when you yourself were fine with working with someone who had done way worse things with miners in the first place. And then I also did want to say that if you were fine at the time, well, if you were fine with working with Cosmodor, then you should be fine with ANCAP's Arab video too. Which of course you did say neither, so so I so I do hope that I seriously do hope that you just say never mind to it. Or like and like try to like I like if you okay, I don't mean to like
Say it how you would say it. That's the only thing I can say.
okay, I don't mean to seem like I'm kind of I don't mean to seem like I'm kind of promoting or anything, but if you are looking for someone to edit for, I mean, you could edit, or you could try and ask to like edit for Red or VOP. And just please not with a nonce, of all people.
Alright.
It's more of a consideration. And, okay, preferably, I agree with Carmen, preferably Red. But anyway, the last thing I did want to mention was something that I might have to do a slight explanation on, since I don't actually think Red or VAP know about it, but there was a time where, I'd say last year, maybe around the same time last year, I know it was like August or July, but oh well. There was a time where I did cut things off with ANCAP and I did ban him from my server. And 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 then like I would say maybe a few months to 6 months later, we both had worked things out. And I had unbanned him from my server. And you do know about this, right? The last part about me unbanning him.
No. If I'm being honest, I probably forgot.
Um, maybe I can post a few screenshots. Or post a screenshot about the unbanning. Let me find it. It's just the first screenshot where he had joined back. But anyways, I do want to get back to what I was saying. So when I had initially banned him, you were the first to be mad about it. And you were acting like he was going to bring many scary things to the server like drama because he was just simply unbanned. And And you just decided to leave when you simply joined at the time. I could, since you said you don't remember, I can just post the other 2 screenshots. And thing is, all he all he really does, or practically all he really does is just like chills and posts memes and clips. So why were you worried about ANCAP? Like when you first joined? I mean, of course it might say it in the screenshots, but I mean, I'm sure you know him enough to know that he's he practically just he practically just shitposts memes.
I have no comment. I just honestly don't have a comment to say about this.
Ah,
Maybe
well,
I'm
sorry I
sorry.
interrupted.
What I was about to say was, I think, as far as I remember, Handcuff was a part of some drama, and I don't know. I was just thinking it'll happen all over again, and like stuff would happen. Was I afraid? Did something? Was Handcuff gonna do anything? I don't know. I just felt like, what would happen next if Handcuff's back? Will it be the same or will it be different? At least that's what
Ah,
I think.
um, hold on. My Discord for some reason had crashed. I'll join right back.
It's alright, we'll wait.
Never mind, you returned. I was about to explain your point about Imperial further, but you can go ahead and continue.
Oh, I'm back, by the way. Did you say anything while
I
I was gone for?
I was gonna elaborate further on your point, on you guys' point about like Imperio and the server thing, but do you have anything else to say, or is that it?
That's it for me, but you can elaborate if you want to.
Okay. All right. Well, what I wanted to say was that I think what Loon and Red were trying to say was that yes, they do agree that what Imperio did was bad. Yeah, and I agree too. I think what Imperio shouldn't be posting that in the server. However, the point was is that you were upset at Imperio or ANCAP or whatever he goes, or Pipkin Pip on number 1 based. Um, Whatever he goes by now. I'm gonna call him Imperio because that's his name. Because that's his name on YouTube. Um, You were mad at Imperio because as he was posting that video of the Arab guy accidentally shooting his hand, which is fair, but you were mad at him under the guise of kids might see it or minors might see it, basically under the guise of protecting minors. And I think the point Loon and Red were trying to make, and I could be miswording it, but the point they were trying to make was that you can't grandstand about somebody who's a minor themselves. And I know that doesn't excuse it, but I have to clarify because this isn't like some adult being creepy. It was a dumb kid being edgy. Sorry, but you can't get mad at who are you to grandstand about child safety when you are willing to work with Cosmodor, someone who has actively ignored everything purposely in regards to child safety. That's the point Loon was trying to make, is that you can't be all for the safety of minors while also working with the child groomer. I believe that's what Loon, and by extension Red, were trying to point out.
Yeah, that was what I was trying to make a point about.
Okay, yeah, good. Alright, so I have a few... I do have a few more questions. They're pretty short, though, and then once I get through that, I'll check for final thoughts, but I have a few more questions, but, which I will go over right now. Why were you so... What did you mean by... And I know this was the question I was initially going to segue into Red before I was interrupted, but... What did you mean by no more trust? When Red sent you the clip of me pointing out you working with Cosmodor, why were you replying with no more trust? What does that mean?
Okay, to clarify, remember the time when I told you not to share screenshots, not to send them on the YouTube, which I will clarify you did this to defend me. That was that one time, and then Septipaws was pissed at me, and so on and so on. Then somehow I saw our screenshots in Red's video, which I vented you about, which I had no consent with.
Okay. Alright. Well, I want to remind you why I'm willing to share the screenshots. And it's not just for your own good. No. It's not just that. I wonder, because if it was for your own good, I would have asked you first. But here's the thing. The reason I was fine with sharing the screenshots was because you were giving screenshots of my chat to Lio Convoy. Which he posted to his Twitter account one time. Because and keep in mind, when I sent this, I was like half asleep, so of course I'm not gonna think 100%. And because I was telling you what was going on and why people were calling me a groomer. During the whole shit with Bella. Or Foo, or whatever the fuck she's called. She's gone from Discord now. Her account got deleted, but you get the idea. When people were calling me a groomer about that. I was letting you know why. Admittedly, I was half asleep. I probably should have waited till morning. But I was telling you that. And then immediately, you went to Lio Convoy, which he posted it to his Twitter and tried to defend and tried to go after me. And when I tried to confront you about that, you blocked me. That is why I share screenshots from our chat. That is why. That is why I don't ask first in regards to you. If you were literally anyone else, I would, if you didn't do the thing with Lio and didn't give him screenshots, that's without my permission, I wouldn't be doing that to you. What I'm doing is no different from what people have done to other people who have been leaking screenshots. You leaked screenshots from my messages, so I did it to you. As Jar and all the other commentators say, if somebody leaks your screenshots first, it's fair game to do it back to them. And that's what I was doing. If you hadn't shared my the screenshot that I did not give you permission to share with Lyle Convoy in regards to the Bella situation, and me trying to explain that I'm not a groomer, which is fucking ironic now that I see it, now that I think about it, because you were distancing yourself from me because I had beef with Lionel Convoy, yet you were dealing with Cosmodor. It's funny how you. But what I was trying to say is that that's why I'm sharing screenshots. Because you shared screenshots without my permission, so I'm doing it to you.
Understood.
Yeah. And that was going to segue into Red's point about. Because I was going to point out who are you to grandstand about trust, which, yeah, who are you to grandstand about trust? And then I was going to shove the baton over to Red, and then he would say his part. But you know, I got interrupted. I had to go downstairs. So you know, I just got that out now. So any more? Does anyone else have anything else to say? Whether it be Loon, Red, or huh?
Something, but I can save it for last.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm assuming everyone unmuted, so I guess this is last. Asus, was this call as bad as you expected it to be?
No, but it still hurts really bad.
Would you compare it to like going to the dentist, as where or you have the fear or that something really bad's going to happen, but and it does still admittedly hurt, but at the same time, it wasn't and like oh, I'm just gonna rip your entire jaw. It was like, yeah, I just need to take out this one tooth.
Yeah, it felt like that, except you didn't have like extreme bleeding.
I'm glad we didn't have an extreme bleeding.
Yeah, because the thing that you put in your mouth, it just filled with it. Uh, I'm just gonna be like sort of light. It just filled with stuff coming out of your tooth, and it doesn't come off.
Yeah, let me say it right now. This is someone. Uh, I am someone that has a really bad cavity right now to the point that I have lost like half a tooth. Like I am still scared to try and get this thing removed. But I know that that pain will be gone. Now, why does it hurt? Why does it hurt for you?
Because I did things that no, I did the thing that no, fuck's sake, I can't even say the right words.
Take
I
it.
got hurt. Okay, I got hurt because the because I am my own.
Take a deep breath. Collect your thoughts. We are not Lio Convoy. All right? We're not going to be all up in your. Uh, we're we're not as mean as him. We can bite. I can 100% say that we can bite. But you know that I would never, ever want to be as mean as him. Right?
Right. So I'm going to say this. I'm hurt because I I hurt the people who cared about me. I'm hurt because I did something that no one should do. I got hurt because I was the one who lighted the torch. I know it sounds shitty for me to say it because I'm not the person who who talk normally, but like try to talk while picking up my words, and it's pretty difficult for me because I don't talk a lot. I'm a quiet guy, but still, the fact that I did this shit is not excusable, and the people who do care about me do tell me off, and well, they are concerned for me. Like, I may not like what they do, but there are people who care about me. Just saying.
All right. Um. Oh, that's actually an point there. Loon. Would you like me to go ahead and ask that, Loon, or?
Yeah, it would be recommended.
All right. So you say that you hurt people that have cared about you. Would you say that Edge cares about you or cared about
Yes.
you? Okay. So why did you block him?
What?
Why did
Wait. Oh, block him.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, why did you block him? Was it because of his connection with Carmen or what was your reasoning there?
I think my reasoning was to like cut off everyone and like be on my way. I'm not saying it'll be an easy way, but I just don't want to be the guy who sets fire onto the oil spill again.
Okay. So, you just want to be away from the situations as much as possible.
Yes.
So, in that regard, why didn't you cut me off?
I don't know.
Was it because you still thought that uh, we were still very close friends?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have anything? Any other questions?
Oh yeah. Um, I'm I'm not sure if I used to have you added or not, but I think I used to, but I think you unadded me So, why did you do so, if you did?
When did I unadd you? That was a question, but like, if I unadded you simply because I wanted to move on.
Um, I'm not sure if you saw my segment, or at least the last part, or one of the parts in my segment in the True Septipause, but in that segment, I had said that I also had wanted to take a break from drama. So, and I would say I somewhat took a break from it. Of course, real life stuff had happened, but I don't count. I'm not gonna count that because oh well. But in other words, if anything, I would say that I'm the least involved in drama. Or me and my friend Tommy, but we're actually the least involved when it comes to drama out of the people here. Well, Fab's also the least involved, but what I'm saying is, like, you know, out of the people who are kind of in Carmen's server and also in my server. And the only times I only really get involved is when it's deemed necessary. So like so if anything, I'm someone who isn't really too drama focused. That's what I wanted to say.
Hey, Carmen, you got anything else, or?
Um, I don't have any more questions if that's what you're asking. I was going to end it on a final thoughts. Um, so you two already went, so, I don't know if Vap has anything to say.
I don't have anything to say.
Alright. Well, so, well, this went better than I expected. This was the first call of the Observatory, and I cannot believe that it went as well as it did, if you can consider this well. Aside from having to wait a long period of time for you to get here, I would safely say that I am somewhat thankful that this went as cordially as it did. So, as we said, and to go over everything we went over, don't abuse your friend's trust. Don't let groomers case the residents, and just try to be and and just try to be a bit more mindful of those who care about you, because and also realize that we're not Senate. Okay, look, I know you were probably scared out of your mind to come here because you thought we were Senate. We're not Senate. We're not oh shit. Okay, we're not Senate. We're not. We don't fucking dox people. We're not here to get people. We're not here to call people's moms. We're not here to dox people. We're not Senate. We're not gonna do that. We will criticize people and we will confront them, and we're not afraid of getting a little hectic if it means getting through to someone. But we're not gonna immediately go to that. I'm not Lyle Convoy. None of us are Senate. We're not here to do that. I brought you here in order to tell you because we had problems with what you were doing, and we wanted to discuss them.
Alright.
And Loon said that he was hoping you would add him back, but that's your option. I can't really stop you. So in closing, fix your priorities. Remember, fix your priorities. Don't abuse your friend's trust, and don't let groomers case the house. Yeah, that's what I meant. And by don't let groomers case the house, don't work for an nonce. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
All right.
May I say something, but it's not related?
Okay.
Attorney Online, the thing like I'm quote unquote playing as, is a chat room. I'm basically in writing. And I left it there being AFK, and I actually was going to my dad's place to give him food. Even though it doesn't matter now, but just to say.
Alright, well, we were we were afraid that you were trying. I don't play Attorney Online. I don't play Ace Attorney. That's not a game I play. I don't know, Red would know more about that than I do. But, but then again, he might only know about certain aspects of that game than I do. You know, we were concerned that you weren't willing to. We were concerned that you weren't confronting us, because that's another problem that you have. But as you can see, now that you've confronted us, we've talked about things, we've made what we want you to improve on it very clear, and we're able to hopefully have you learn the lesson that I hoped you learned a while ago. So, one last time, does anyone have anything else to say?
I do have something to add. Lone, do you have something to add before I do? I prefer to go last with this.
I was just gonna say, I put the final thought in my chat, but on the last part of just ignoring it if Cosmodor actually did respond.
It's kind of what I meant by don't let groomers case the house, but yeah, that works too.
All right.
But yeah, on to you, Red.
Right. So, Asus, I've never asked you this before, but are you religious by any chance?
My sister mostly is, but me as well, I'm not.
All right. So you didn't grow up in like a Christian household.
No.
All right. Well, I grew up in a Lutheran household. Oh, my father's a pastor, and there's one piece of scripture that Carmen could call me cringe for this, is if she wants, but I think this is something that I think what you should hear. This is from Matthew. If your brother sins against you, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. If he listens to you, you have gained your brother. But if he does not listen, take one or two others along with you, that every charge may be established by the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. If he refuses to listen to them, tell it to the church. And if he refuses to listen even to the church, let him be to you as a Gentile and a tax collector. So, this is not the church part, or we have gone to the take one or two others along with you part. And I can safely say, after this, I do you feel like I have gained you as my brother?
Yes.
You would be correct in saying that because I also feel that as well. And you're still willing to work with me to reestablish trust, right?
Yes.
Are you willing to do the same for Carmen or Edge or Loon?
Yes.
All right. Hey, that was crap. What's the word I'm looking for?
That's a
Productive.
wrap.
That was this is a productive call then. All right, that's all I've got.
Alright, so... Oh... I guess that's it. Since... Well, wait, Luden, did you want to say something or other?
No, I was more so just gonna say, like, I was just probably gonna say, I was probably just gonna say, good night, but, and then just, like, but if, since you wanted to say something, I'll just let you.
Oh wow, this has been going on for an hour and 30 minutes. Well, I was just gonna say, hey, that, since everyone got their word in, and I guess everyone is dismissed. But, I don't know if we should keep Aces here or if we should give him the boot. I don't know.
I'll leave. I'll leave. Is that all right?
Alright. I was gonna have Loon figure that out, but if you want to go, that's fine.
Understood. And I apologize if I had any sort of trouble with saying you people.
It's alright. I guarantee you, if we have any future calls, you would probably be the easiest person we've dealt with. That is, if we get any future calls. With other people, that is.
Right.
I also kind of want to apologize. I did tell you it wouldn't take long, but I guess as an hour and 30 minutes is a long time. My bad.
Honestly, Senate calls even go even further than that.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing we're not Senate.
Guess I'll just take my leave.
Alright.
Fun, I suppose.
Alright.
And don't forget, take it easy, alright?
You too, man.
Don't forget what we said.
Yes, Miss Carmen.
Alright. That went surprisingly well. Anyways, gamers, have a good night. Or so I thought. Yeah, I'm actually voicing this part of the video because something abrupt happened in regards to this call, and honestly it made me going from having hope for Asus to me realizing he will never change. So this call happened on the 18th of August, and for the longest time we figured that we did well. We were content with the result, and we were happy that Asus seemingly listened and understood. Then on the 12th of September, Asus got in contact with Red once again to tell him that he was cutting him off. Yeah, after apologizing to Red and everyone else and agreeing to Red's offer for a second chance, he decided now he wanted to cut things off. Let's see what Asus had to say.
I guess it's been almost a month, so there's no point waiting for you. I'm going to be straight with you. At 19th a day after the recorded call, I've been starting to recall a lot of things.
Then why didn't you say anything on the 19th?
Like, for example, when I said that no more trust, it's because I said to Carmen not to be mentioned at all.
Yeah, and I told you that I don't care because you shared something without my permission, so as a result, I'm doing the same thing to you.
I didn't want this non-consensual bullshit, you know? And she did it. Why? Simple. I blocked her.
Yeah, you blocked me after the many times I tried to fix things with you, and the many times I tried to be nice to you even after you backstabbed me.
I have my own reasoning, which I'm not gonna disclose to you.
Of course you're not, because said reasoning is either very petty or non-existent.
And so because she had a upsetty spaghetti.
You shared a DM I sent to you to Lyle Convoy without my permission, and blocked me suddenly before we could properly make things up and try to fix things. Of course I'm upset. Don't try to downplay what you did to me. God, if I knew you were this scummy, I'd tell people about the Cosmodor shit sooner.
She didn't even think to reach out to you to ask what's happening. Nope.
I've gotten this complaint from a lot of people I exposed. From Neko Koda to Septi, so here. I'm gonna play a clip from ViewTech USA to explain why I don't reach out first.
I love how people on one side, they'll call out whoever the hell they want to and never pick up the phone, which is fine, you don't need to, but when they're on the end of receiving criticism, why didn't you call me? Really? Well, what would you have said? Yeah, Rich, please, by all means, make a video of being critical of us. We can't wait to see it. Of course no one's gonna say that, or they're gonna give you misinformation to put in the video to damage control. That's why you don't go to people and you just find out information yourself and do research, because if you go to people, they're gonna paint themselves, damage control, and paint themselves in the most positive light.
Because if you remember what she said about having concern, that's bullshit. Exhibit A, the video in question.
What video? The video that mentioned you for like a split second? The video where you weren't even mentioned in the title or the thumbnail? That video? If so, then maybe don't work with Cosmodor, and don't backstab people, and most of all, grow a spine. You don't think people talk about me behind my back? I guarantee you that I'm 99% sure that in that Lil Ace Attorney chat room when Red Gear was trying to get a hold of you, you were complaining to that chat room about how Kamen Rider banned and all that other shit. I guarantee you that was happening.
Exhibit B, the messages on the voice chat.
You mean the messages where we joked about your shitty behavior? As I said, grow a spine.
Exhibit C, the call itself.
What about it? If anything, we were incredibly nice to you. None of us yelled, none of us insulted you, and you even apologized to us. But I guess that just doesn't mean anything when you decide to be petty. Just doing the EDP 445 thing and taking back your apology when things don't go your way now, huh?
This wasn't just a recorded call interview. This was an interrogation.
I can say with full confidence that that is not true. The point of an interrogation is to get information from someone. I didn't need information from you. We just needed to confront you regarding your behavior. I could have interrogated you, but I didn't because I don't need info from you.
With yes or no questions. Fuck's sakes. She was also upset about people calling her a groomer, yet despite the fact the call she had with Kumo.
Outside of Septi doxing his name to you, what the fuck does Kumo have to do with you? When did Kumo call me a groomer? I think he called me a nonce for being a lolicon, but he never called me a groomer.
She said she didn't care. If she did care, she would have made her peace and move on.
I always get this question from people who don't like me. Why don't I just move on? Here's the thing. I want to move on. The only thing keeping me talking about this stuff is the people who constantly bring it up to me, and the people who want to keep this shit going. This drama is over a year old. I want to be done with it. Most people want to be done with it. But you want to know who isn't done? Septipause. Since in their community post they not only threatened to sue me, which I've talked about already, but they're going to do another video. Not to mention in Lyle Convoy's video on me that's actually a video on Nil, he claims that it's a series he has. Meaning he's going to make more videos where he loosely ties actions of others to me. Not to mention that time Mushroom Girl actively defended Neko Koda, someone who doxed a minor, and Ephraim saying he's gonna add the true Septipause to his worst of list. I wonder why you aren't asking these people to move on. Why not? Why not ask Lyo Convoy, Septipause, Mushroom Girl, and Ephraim to move on? Oh right, because those people share the opinion that you do, and most importantly of all, aren't Kamen Rider. Who cares that everyone else is bringing it up more than I am when, you know, Kamen Rider bad?
However, it's Carmen because of course she doesn't move on. She wanted this to happen.
Yes, I totally wanted to be harassed by a homicidal European and a fat ass who wanted to record CP for evidence all over petty Discord shit. Asus, do you fucking hear yourself? Has Logic just left the building for you? Who am I kidding? Logic left the building when you wanted to work for a pedophile under the guise of work is work.
And there's also the thing before I entered the server. What's wrong with you? I've been gone for 20 minutes and you couldn't wait for that?
You were intentionally stalling because you claimed you were helping your dad when you were actually in an Ace Attorney chat room. That's why Red was so impatient with you.
Do you know how many days and weeks have I waited for you and not said a word about it?
Red doesn't have all the time in the world, you know. He has a job. Not to mention you two are in different countries. God forbid he's not here 24/7 just to do RP stuff with you.
Because I'm patient for people who I consider my friends.
You didn't seem very patient with me when you were constantly asking me why I was being called a groomer after Lyle Convoy's tweet about me while I was at work.
And reading the DMs right now, I don't guilt trip my friends just to come to the server.
He didn't guilt trip you. But to be honest, you should feel guilty for backstabbing me, playing the victim about you backstabbing me, and wanting to work with Cosmodor under the guise of work is work.
It felt like guilt tripping.
Or maybe you just feel guilty because now you are finally receiving the consequences of your actions for wanting to work with a child predator.
And you know, a lot of stuff has happened in my life that if you paid attention, I was silent this entire time and answering your questions.
It would seem that way too. For the longest time, we thought the call went extremely well and we thought you finally got the hint. But after this DM you sent to Red, and after I listened to the call again while editing this video, I'm starting to think you mostly told us what we wanted to hear rather than the straight up truth. Granted, Red has told me that there is some truth to what you said, but even he agrees that you are most likely giving us lip service, and not the good kind. If only you were a Vaporeon instead of a Glaceon, maybe then you would have given me the good kind.
Bad stuff happened and not good ones. I wouldn't lie to anyone. I wouldn't bullshit anyone. Those are the facts. Lun, I can acknowledge that what I did wasn't right, leaving and not being patient with it, and I had to worry, and I'm sorry for them. What about the Cosmodor thing? It was something that happened months ago.
Maybe don't do it at all? How long has it been since Cosmodor was outed as a groomer? Oh right, 3 years. And you still worked with him. Asus, you're essentially using the cancel culture excuse that he did. Obviously, I don't subscribe to the mindset of cancel culture. Cancel culture is bad, 100%. But this isn't that. This isn't someone trying to say the N-word on stream, or someone making an offensive joke, or anything like that. This is you wanting to work with a child predator.
And someone who wanted to bring that up and having a rude tone isn't the person who'd understand that what was done was done.
How about just not doing it at all?
And I thought about it before, even if it wasn't going anywhere, that giving work to a pedo wasn't a good idea.
Then why did you do it in the first place?
I had a good heart, but I was careless.
That's not careless. What you did was very intentional. You valued money over morals.
That's what it was. I know I'm gonna get backlash over this, but like I said, I want to be left alone and be happy.
Oh, you're gonna be left alone, but you're not gonna be happy. You've been shown to be a snake who backstabbed me, and now someone who wanted to work with a predator. You think people are gonna be friends with you after that? You cut me and everyone else off around you because you were criticized for your actions. Oh, but surely people in that little Ace Attorney chat room are gonna be friends with you, right? I doubt it. Because you know who else is in the Ace Attorney fandom? Redgear. And he felt extra betrayed by your siding with Cosmodor. You don't think he's gonna tell people? You don't think he's gonna tell people that you sided with a groomer and backstabbed me? Not to mention, I can't imagine Lyle Convoy would accept you back either. Not only is the Senate shrinking in size after he wanted Mintheart to record CSA of herself, but I highly doubt he'd want you back anyways. And Septi, the person you wished happy gay day to, considering how Septi's friendship with Red went as told by the true Septipaws, I can only imagine Septi would see your lack of use and kick you to the curb. Congratulations, Asus!
because of your actions and your Steven Universe mindset?
You can make it better. We don't have to fight.
You are dead!
You have no one! Your friends are gone! You'll never have any friends anymore, and it's all your fault! You've officially ostracized yourself, and it's all your fault.
You suck at life, the whole world hates you, you're going to hell, live with it. Game over.
Anyways, gamers, have a good night.